Way up north to Alaska. Way up north to Alaska. North to Alaska. Go north, the rush is on. North to Alaska. Go north, the rush is on.
Hi, welcome to the 4th episode of North Cabin Fibercrafts. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and hi, hello, and how are you if you're new to the show. Thank you. This week's episode is going to be a little bit willy-nilly. I'm not really sure where I'm going with it. I'll try to stick to my show notes, which were kind of sparse, and I just kind of threw stuff together, being that today is April 14th, the day before tax day, and I'd like to try and do my recordings on Sundays. It gives me enough time to edit and post and everything, so Sunday seems to be my best day for this. The first segment is the wild, and that is pretty much updates to our Alaska project, where we're going, what we found, what we purchased, things like that. This week I don't have a whole lot to report, other than we did purchase a water purification system that's small and portable so that we can get clean drinking water. We do plan on taking several containers of drinking water and then recycling the containers to then purify our own water. Comes in this nifty little tiny bag here, pouch. You can see it. This is how small it is. We haven't tried it yet. I talked to John about that, and we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. I think this is small and compact because it's mainly used for hikers, so it's lightweight and comes with everything you need, which I have no idea what we need, so he's in charge of this. We'll have to get him to either demonstrate it or just talk about it and how it works. So that's really all we have purchased. The only other thing I have is last week I asked you all to go to the Ravelry group, and in the North Cabin Fibercrafts Ravelry group I do have it on the discussion board, camping food menu ideas, and I asked for some folks to post their ideas there on what would be good foods to take with us for a long period of time when we may or may not have a store close by to run in and get some fresh foods. So I have a couple here. Fluffy Dog Owner. She says she doesn't have much experience in this area, but the first thing that came to mind to her was foil dinners, and pretty much we all know what foil dinners are. Put some meat, potatoes, veggies in, a little bit of seasoning and whatnot, toss it in the fire, and let it cook until it's ready. This is great for fish. She also suggested some meats like Spam, tuna, and chicken. She does say that fresh eggs can last a month if they're kept cold. So that's good to know. If we get enough fresh eggs. I think that's the key. Fresh. You get them fresh from a farmer, fresh from a chicken, so on and so forth. They will last longer than they do the purchased ones that you buy at the store. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone want to pipe in here? Leave a message on the board and let me know what you think about this. Another thing is evaporated milk was invented to keep on a shelf, so if you add water it's supposed to be just like milk. Anyone out there brave enough to try that? I think it would be good for cooking with, so that's an option. I'm probably going to test this idea before we go, obviously, but as far as drinking it mixed with water, I'm not sure. Maybe it's better than powdered milk though, which we all know powdered milk doesn't taste that great. It doesn't even taste as good as skim milk. We haven't been drinking skim milk for a while now, so we're pretty much on a 1%. Skim milk just, to me, has no flavor. So that's from Fluffy Dog Owner, and her real name is Debbie. So then we have one from Debbie Jazz, and her name's Debbie. She suggests mac and cheese and ramen noodles. You can add Spam, tuna, or canned meat to any of these. peanut butter or Nutella on crackers, and she suggests to head down the packaged food aisle for Chinese or Indian food. You can just heat maybe some rice and, you know, give that a shot. Cereal and powdered milk, salami, pepperoni, beef jerky for protein, oatmeal and dried fruit. She also says that she spent way too much time thinking about food. Thanks, Deb. And then Debbie, Fluffy Dog Owner, came back and says that the evaporated milk added water to can't taste worse than powder milk. But I don't know. Again, we're going to have to give that a shot. If anybody wants to run out to the grocery store on their next trip, grab a can of evaporated milk and tell me what you think. Go to the Ravelry group and leave me a message that lets me know how did that come out. I do have one suggestion on the blog, which is northcabinfibercrafts.blogspot.com. You can leave a message there also. And this message is from Christy. For planning long trips, please remember dry goods are your friend. Rice, beans, peas. Soups are easy and require no meat. Most are better with meat, but you won't starve without it. Flour tortillas are another easy way you can wrap anything up in it and enjoy it everywhere. They are easy keepers and take up less space than bread, and they won't get squished like bread. And my son says you can always live on pasta and spaghetti with canned sauce. So those are some great ideas. I thank you very much for those of you that have participated. I hope that several more of you will participate, so that about mid-May to end of May I'm going to do a drawing. I'll use the random number generator and just choose a number, and someone will win a great gift. I'm not sure whether it'll be something from my shop, or I do have a couple of donated items from a few people, and I may offer those up as gifts as well. So that is the wild segment. Now we're going to move on to the wacky. Have you looked outside? The wacky is the weather. I can't believe this. It's been today snowing, sleeting, sunny, raining, and then we've also had flakes about this big. This big. Now, mind you, they're not sticking, and it's really not very cold outside, but it's interesting weather anyways. I remember 2 years ago, I purchased a motorcycle in February, and I took my test, my learn how to ride the motorcycle test and class. I believe it was the end of March. We had a couple really warm days, and then we had a couple of days that were just bitter cold, and I literally had to wear Carhartt bibs and heavy winter coat and really warm snowmobile gloves and cover my face under my full-faced helmet and everything. But this year's just way different. It's been interesting. I do believe, let me check here, I do believe that I heard tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, Monday, they're predicting we're going to have 64 degrees, sunny with some rain. 64 is okay. Looks like rain, thunderstorms, and clouds the rest of the week. Oh joy. That's always fun. So, it's just amazing. 2 years ago I was riding my motorcycle from, like I said, March, as soon as I took my test in class. And so April, I was already riding my motorcycle to work, riding everywhere, riding all the time. Last year I didn't ride as much. We moved, so there was a lot of packing and planning and moving and things like that that consumed most of what seemed like summer. All of it. It seemed like it took forever. But this year's really different so far. I can't wait until the weather just turns around and decides to get nice and warm out, we've been talking about bringing the motorcycles home from storage and getting them ready so that as soon as we have a really nice day, we're taking off on those things. So that's a little bit wacky and weather. Now we're going to move on to the work segment. And in the work segment, I've been slacking this week. Total slacker. Haven't done much. I believe I mentioned last week that I ordered some buttons. So those should arrive on Monday or Tuesday. I received the notification in my email. So Monday or Tuesday I'll have those. I'm going to put some up in the shop, take some to the retreats with me, and I can't wait to see them. I hope they came out as good as they look on screen because they're really cool. The other thing that I ordered last week was I ordered a banner, 2 foot by 4 foot long banner, similar setup, similar logo work and everything as I did for the buttons. So I really hope that one comes out nice. It will be just nice to put in front of the table if I do a couple of shows. So I'm trying to plan ahead a little bit to promote business and get out there and not have the business be completely an online business. I'd like to do more interaction with people and hang out, get to know more people, and get North Cabin Fiber Crafts out there, because this is my job. This is my job. I love my job. On to the woolly. Woolly is anything fibery goodness. I believe it might have been last week or the week before. I said I was doing mindless knitting, and mindless knitting was dishcloths. So we have 1 done, 2 done, and I finished all the tails, tucked them all in. They're ready to use. I do believe I may throw these in the Packet to Alaska box. We have packed a couple of cardboard boxes so far. They're not fully packed, they're just partially packed with items that we're going to pre-ship to Alaska, so that they'll meet us there. We don't have to pay for airline, extra baggage on airline and what have you. And to send stuff to Alaska is pretty expensive, so we have to keep our weight down and get as much of our personal belongings that we want to take to Alaska, beat us there, because once we get to Alaska, we are going to be doing some shopping for a day or so, gathering our groceries, purchasing a tent, any of the things that seemed a little bit too bulky, too heavy to ship, and take care of that kind of stuff when we get there. The other thing, let's see, I finished the dishcloths. Tina from Knitting Blooms, and she's Blooming Knitter pretty much on everything. She is doing tutorials for knitting the sock blankie, which is out of sock weight yarns, little bits, little walnut sized bits of your leftover sock weight yarns, or get into swaps and what have you. You know, send out 10 skeins, get 10 different skeins, mini skeins back, and then just start putting it together. So this is the very first I've ever done this, and I decided to do a square or rectangle. It may even become a scarf or shawl. I'm not sure how far I'll get with it. It's really quick and easy knitting. It's similar to dishcloths, where it's fairly no-brainer also. This is what I have so far. Isn't that pretty? This one here is one of my test self-striping bits. I did just a handful of yards and self-striped it and gave that a shot. So that's that one. This is one that I got in a swap. I got that in a swap. I got that in a swap. And this one is left over from a pair of socks that I knit for myself. So I'm already, I almost have 6 blocks done. Yay. It's fun. It's quick. It goes by really fast. You don't have to think too much about it. And you're feeling some accomplishment and getting results, which is always fun. My last experiment, and I keep saying this experiment, dyeing self-striping, the dyeing part is not that hard. The warping of it is not that hard. I'm finding that after it is warped, tied off, dyed, dried, and you go to put it back on the warping board, things happen. I got some tangles in my last little ball that I did. I don't know how many yards it is, but I ended up just balling it right off of the warping board because it just seemed to be tangled and twisted and whatnot. And I figure that I am not wrapping the yarns in between to keep my loops separate, so that when I put them back on the warping board to then wind them off into a ball, they seem to just be like this. And I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to give it a try again this week and see where I get with it. I really like it. My second attempt at self-striping was another just little bit walnut size, you might say. And I started out making, you know, I knitted enough in the round, 68 or 72 stitches, I believe, around, and was just testing the self-striping patterning part of it. I really like the yardage that I chose, and you know how the stripes are laid out. This was only a 3-color stripe. Tried to make it simple for myself. And then I decided to look up a pattern for premature baby hats, and I found that it was, you know, I think 72 stitches that were cast on, knitting around, and decreased down. Well, I ran out, so my decreases didn't get all the way as far as they normally would have, and so what I did was I just gathered it up at the top with a nice little hat. Little preemie baby's not gonna know the difference, but that is one tiny little head, isn't it? Tiny. So that was one of my other self-striping experiments. The colors, I didn't plan them. I just had some left in jars or bowls from dyeing something previously, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna dunk and dip and go for it and see what happens. So this was my attempt number 2 at self-striping. So we have that one. The other thing that I'm going to cast on, and that will probably be today, is I signed up to be a pattern tester. And this is my first time testing anyone's pattern. So I do have a deadline, and I do believe it is the 19th, which gives me not too many days to get this accomplished, and that is why I'm going to cast it on this evening. I did dye up, I chose to do the worsted weight. Let me pull this out. It's the pattern is by Apple Blossom and More. Her name is Sarah Franklin, and it's called Meadow Sweet Cardigan. And I'm not sure if you can really see that picture, but it is just the cutest little baby sweater. If you do it in DK weight, it's 0 to 6 months, and if you do worsted weight, you get a 6 to 12 month. So I'm going for the 6 to 12 month version and worsted weight. I did dye up a skein of worsted weight. I didn't want pink, and I didn't want a dark color, and I didn't want a variegated or a self-striping, because this pattern does have a little lacy panel around the midsection down here, or the lower section, and so I really wanted to do something fairly solid. I chose key lime green. It seems to me that this is showing up a whole lot brighter than it really is. It looks quite neon in the camera, but in person it's toned down. It's not as bright as this is, even though they do look kind of the same, don't they? A couple of shades lighter. I thought that would be pretty. As I said, I'm going to cast that on tonight and give the pattern a go. Hopefully I can get it done by the end of the week and have a finished object to show you for the pattern test, and be able to turn in my notes, make sure everything is great with her pattern writing, and it just looks like a quick, simple knit with really cute results for a baby. So that's the knitting. That's what I'm doing. The next segment is the woods, which still I was going to leave that to John. We haven't gotten to interviewing him or having a discussion with him or anything like that yet. He's totally on board about it, and our schedules just really haven't coincided. Either we're too exhausted at the end of the night or fall asleep on the couch watching TV, or it's just been kind of hectic. So I'm still working on him. He is still working on the orifice hooks out of deer antler and elk antler. Hope to have those ready to take some with me to the Knit Away retreat, which is, let's see, Knit Away is my 24th, so the 25th through the 28th of April, and that is in Lexington, which is just, it's east of where I live, and it's a little bit north of Port Huron on Lake Huron, Michigan. So I hope that he can get a couple of these done for us that I can take and show the girls there. You know, they may or may not be interested. There are knitters and spinners that will be at the retreat, and I can't wait to see some of the people. I haven't been for a couple of years to this particular retreat, and I am really looking forward to just hanging out. It's like a vacation. It is a vacation. It's a vacation from like regular life and everyday life and the trials and tribulations and the laundry. Dishes. Well, there'll still be dishes. There just won't be laundry. So, the next bit is the wish list. I really don't have, I haven't found anything, purchased anything. I haven't been stalking the rab boards for new patterns, really. This week has just been not as active as I would have liked to be during the week, knitting and perusing the webs and all that jazz. So I just really don't have anything in that department. Trying to think. Seems like there has to be something. The only thing that I can think of that I plan on purchasing this week is probably some collapsible style milk crates to take some of my yarns and fibers and be able to set them out on a table so that people can, you know, rifle through them, purchase some if they like. So I hope so. I hope everybody likes them in person. It's really hard to depict the colors, the tones, the feeling, the feel of the yarns and fibers on the internet through a picture and just with description. To be able to touch and feel and, you know, really see it, it makes a world of difference. I just want to knit with everything that I've done. There's not one colorway that I don't like, and there's not one fiber that I just wouldn't want to knit with or spin with. I've only spun one of my own fibers, and I do believe I mentioned that and I couldn't find it this last time, the last podcast, but this is my example. I called it Electric Purple. It's 100% superwash BFL. It is 4 ounces. 2 ounces are white or cream right here, and then 2 ounces are an oatmeal color. And I just put them together this way, dyed them in the pan, put my dyes on, and there's a lot of purple and some, it's like a mountain blue. It's a really bright blue, really electric yellow. It's just really cool. And you look at it like this and it's like, yeah, that's nice. I like those colors. It's all pretty. But when you take it And what I did is I spun them separately. The oatmeal colored I spun onto one bobbin, and then the white I spun on another bobbin and plied them together. And this is how it came out. It is a little barber pulley, but it's so like tone on tone. It matched up very well. This is probably a sport 2 worsted. I'm going to go with sport weight probably. I can't remember how many yards I got, but it's just so squishy and soft, and I'm going to take this as an example. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to sell it in the shop yet, or I'm going to knit something with it because I like it so much. I really do want to knit with this. So as I was saying, I'm going to take purchase some crates or some type of containers that I can also turn up on their side like this and put yarns and fibers in, yet take them down and make it portable and carryable to set up, put in the car, so on and so forth. So that's probably my only purchase I plan on making this week to get myself ready for the retreats coming up and taking some of my goodies with me. Now, a lot of the girls have asked for the knit away if I'm going to bring any of my stuff with me, and I said sure, I'll bring some. The next retreat is it the 3rd weekend? It's the weekend after Mother's Day, and it's Guts, Grit, and Pink Lipstick, and that's on the west side of the state, near Lake Michigan. I can't remember the city or town it's in. This is the first annual retreat that CJ Kopek from Kopek Creations is putting together. So I will be vending at that one, at that retreat, true vending on Saturday. There will be a lot of other indie dyer spinners and bag people that make project bags and so on and so forth will be vending on Saturday at that particular retreat. So this will be my first real like vending opportunity. I'm really excited. I'm really nervous too, to be up there with some of the other more accomplished folks that have been doing this a bit longer than I have. But we're gonna have fun with it. I guess that's about it for everything. I would say that is my week in review, all of it. As far as the wonder, maybe I'm going to find a few photos or have John put dots on a map. Put dots on a map, John, of the travel plans, where we plan on starting and going and finishing and seeing, all on Alaska map, starting from Anchorage, Alaska. So, thanks again. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can find me as Lori U on Ravelry, Plurk, and Twitter. Facebook, I'm Lori Green, and I also have a North Cabin Fiber Crafts Facebook page. We have the Ravelry group, which is North Cabin Fiber Crafts. As I mentioned earlier, please jump over there to the camping food menu ideas. Leave some more ideas. If someone could just throw a menu together for me, that would be great. That would be really awesome. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 4 days worth. Then I can just repeat it over and over until we get home, right? Thank you. Also, at the Ravelry group, you know, come on in. There's a welcome tab. Jump on in there and say hi. Tell me where you're from. Does anyone out there that is watching or listening live in Alaska? Have you been to Alaska? Do you have a story to tell? Please share it with me. That about sums things up. You can find the shop at northcabinfibercraft.etsy.com. I plan on doing a small shop update tomorrow, which is April 15th. Yes, dreaded tax day. Are yours done? So take care. Have a great week. Till I see you again. Bye-bye.